Season 44, War number 7, and we are up against SSx, and this time my team will be Kate Bishop, Valkyrie, and Spider-Ham. Silk was banned this war, so Spider-Ham is a good replacement. I will be taking Path 1 in Section 1, Path 5 in Section 2, America Chavez and Zemo mini-bosses, and finally for the final boss island I will be taking both Mangog and Mysterio. First here we have a Shuri on the personal space regeneration node, and I will be taking this fight with Kate Bishop. I start with the Cold Snap or Cryo Arrow as usual, just to disable the automatic arrow swap, and then I go in with an advanced power boost to get my special one and the Cold Snap ticking early on. And this fight isn't too difficult, I just gotta make sure I do not let her stack up too many of those regenerations, because while Kate Bishop's damage output is nuts, it's not infinite and it also doesn't counter regeneration in any way. So while the Cold Snap is massive, I do need to make sure she doesn't stack up too many of those regens. And it is quite easy to play around that, because Shuri's special attacks keep her quite far away, which allows plenty of time for the regens to fall off. It's a very simple fight and you can easily get your openings with the parry evade stun, or just by landing intercepts, I guess. Next up we have a Dragon Man on the Masochism Overtime node, and I'm taking this fight with Kate Bishop. And due to the decay tactic here, I will be inflicting wither debuffs on the opponent every single time I touch him, and that means that the Masochism regen will have a lot of uptime in this fight. That also means Dragon Man here is almost permanently unblockable, which just means I have to rely on intercepting baiting specials as well as Kate's parry evade for my openings. Now the regeneration itself isn't too difficult to deal with, since the Wither debuffs allow me to counter the regeneration with the Despair Mastery, along with the Cold Snaps doing a lot of damage. So I don't really have to worry about that, though it does make the fight a little bit slower than it usually would be. All in all, as long as I can keep the slow up so my dexes don't trigger the unstoppable, the fight isn't too difficult. I could have also used Spider-Ham there, but his playstyle kind of relies on parrying, because that increases your chances of triggering the power stings, so I figured that Kate Bishop being insane with this tactic was the way to go. Now next up we have a Kindred on the Ebb and Flow Intercept node, and I am taking this fight with Kate Bishop as well. The main reason for that, outside of her being a decay champion, is her easy access to intercepts with that parry evade. As long as you do it against the opponent's medium dash attack, it will count as an intercept, which will then remove the ebb and flow protection. As we can see here, it is an extremely simple way to play around this node, and it makes Kindred, well, even easier to deal with here than he would be with basically any tactic champion. He goes down in just over 30 seconds. I did take a slight bit of cheap damage from blocking the special ones, but that's quite alright. A potion here and there isn't exactly a problem in tier 1 wars. In comparison, I am spending way more units on energy refills for war, now that all the portals and such take extra energy to complete, or rather walk over, and that just makes my job a little bit more difficult, since I usually do all my fights in one go. But never mind that, at the very least I can get my fights done in a single set of boosts, and I can't complain about it. Now this fight right here is an Absorbing Man on the Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge nodes, and I am once again taking the fight with Kate Bishop. Now the key thing here for this fight is that I do not let Absorbing Man get to his special 2. Or if I do, I just have to reset, I have to remove it or wait it out, because the magma form makes him immune to cold snap. Ideally, I would just keep baiting the special once over and over, and let the cold snap do the damage, and well, the fight wouldn't take too long like that, provided I can actually keep the protection down and deal with the regeneration properly. Now, to start the fight off, I did start it off well enough by getting the cold snap on, but I did the parry evade by accident, and the counter hit consumed my dexterity buff, giving him enough power to get to his special 2, which then made him immune to the cold snap. That has made this fight, at this point, around 2 times longer than it usually should be, but at this point, now that I got the 2 cold snaps on, you can see the regeneration on Absorbing Man can't keep up, and he's just gonna get melted by those cold snaps, which are also boosted by the Ebb and Flow Fury, along with any boosts I have on. Kate Bishop's damage output, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it is insane, and at this point in time while I'm recording this video, I have already ascended her as well, so she's only gonna get better for season 45, assuming she's not banned at least. And then, next up we have an America Chavez on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it nodes, and I am taking this fight with Kate Bishop as well. Now this fight, or rather any tactic defenders on these nodes, is kind of annoying to deal with due to the fact that the right back at it node will make the defender immune to the slow debuff. That means that I would have to deal with the unstoppable if I decide to dex America Chavez at any point in this fight, and against her specials, both of them are projectile based, so I can't avoid them simply by dashing away from her. I have to dex them or block them, so in this fight I'm opting to block them to reduce the damage somewhat. That means I am gonna take some cheap damage here and there, and especially with the aggression prowess node, triggering a few prowesses here and there, it is very annoying, but better to just eat the cheap damage than risk the fight getting out of hand by getting smacked by the unstoppable. So, once again, can't exactly complain about a few potions here and there. I would rather get the solo safely than do something risky and potentially lose the Deathless Season. The fight itself went fine, and the matchup isn't too difficult to deal with either, so long as you are prepared to use a potion afterwards. Then next up we have a Zemo here on the Hazard Shift, Incinerate and Poison node, and I'm taking this fight with Valkyrie. And this is a fight that I have taken multiple times in previous seasons. The game plan is basically always the same with Valkyrie against Hazard Shift nodes. I am only hitting the opponent's block by utilizing the light whiffs in the air once the opponent dashes back, which then kinda breaks their AI and forces them to hold block, giving you an easy and a safe opening. Now, I tried to speed things up a little bit here by going for some light whiffs when I shouldn't, which is slightly risky, but if you can properly recognize the actual successful openings, it is something you can do. Now here I also decided to block the last hit of Zemo Special 1 to get that permanent bleed debuff on myself for some free willpower healing, but thinking back now, that wasn't really a great idea. Since I'm only hitting his block anyways, and I'm not planning on getting hit in the fight, I'm not gonna be taking any damage anyways, so the willpower healing does nothing for me. All it potentially does is reduce my own damage output if the defender is running inequity, so there really was no point to that, but it is something you can do. In general questing at least, and maybe some BG matchups at times. Usually though, eating the block damage on the special one, maybe not the best idea. And next up we have a Mangog on the Aspect of Evolution mini-boss node, and I'm taking this fight with Spider-Ham. And I was very excited for this matchup. I was begging the other officer in my BG to let me take this one, because it I knew it was gonna be so much fun. So going in, my game plan was to just use the invulnerability boost and push Mangog to his special 3 on purpose, and while doing so I will keep spamming my own special 1 to keep the power stings paused, so that I have as many of them as possible when Mangog throws that special 3. If you didn't know, the power sting potency on Spider-Ham increases depending on how much power the opponent has when they trigger. So that's why baiting a special 2, for example, is a lot more beneficial than baiting special 1s. Now in this fight, unfortunately I didn't get Mangog to his special 3, so he didn't die from a single power sting burst, but as you saw there, the damage was absolutely insane. Now he didn't die from the special 1 he threw afterwards either. He actually fell over from me reversing the healing he got from willpower due to the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights I had on it. And those pre-fights, by the way, are not necessary for the fight at all. We just put them on because we had them available. And then we have arrived at the final fight of this war. A Mysterio on the Combat Deja Vu Prowess and Conflictor miniboss node. I will be taking this fight with Kate Bishop, and the game plan is fairly simple. Just keep baiting the special 1 over and over again, and let the cold snaps do the work as usual. Now, in this case the Conflictor node is messing up my plans a little bit by giving him some power gain here and there due to me constantly triggering those Wither debuffs. Thankfully though, the Wither debuffs themselves are reducing the majority of the power gain he would get from the Conflictor node, so the power gain isn't too difficult to deal with. Now that just means that he will be spamming that special 1 over and over again, which is both a little bit annoying, but also a good thing, since it allows me to keep my cold snap debuff paused very easily. Now all that's left is to just make sure I keep the slow debuff up on him at all times, and if it ever falls off, I need to make sure I notice it and that I do not punish his special 1 with a full combo. Since I'm dexing the special, I have a buff on me, and if the slow has fallen off, punishing that special 1 can very quickly lead to me getting clapped by the Unstoppable. Thankfully though, I did manage to keep my eye on it properly in this fight, and I didn't get destroyed by the Unstoppable, and that is another war without any deaths. Hopefully I can keep it up. We'll see. As for the results, we actually did end up winning the war 5-4. It was very close, but we just managed to take this one. And before you go, just wait, there's more. Season 44, war number 8, and we're up against 4 Loki. And this time my team will be Silk, Kate Bishop and Shuri. I will be taking path 1 in section 1, path 2 in section 2, Werewolf by night there on the right, Infamous Iron Man on the left, Mangog and Mantis mini-bosses, as well as the Mysterio boss. Now, I was doing this war while in Vancouver, and I had no clue how Werewolf by night works, so that fight is gonna be interesting to say the least. But first things first, here we have a Shuri on the personal space regeneration node, and I will be taking this fight with Kate Bishop, starting with the cryo arrow to once again disable the automatic arrow swap, because it is very annoying to deal with. I also use an advanced power boost, as I usually do with Kate Bishop, just to get that cold snap ticking early on, to not waste any time, get straight in, get the damage rolling, and then just melt the defender before they can really do anything too troublesome. Now, just like in the previous war, the personal space regeneration node is not really a problem so long as I play around it by not staying too close all the time, and thankfully Shuri's special attacks give me more than enough space and time to let them fall off naturally. All in all, this fight was a lot cleaner than the one in the previous war, but even then, the fight itself is not difficult to do at all. Now next up we have a Wong on the Masochism Overtime node, and I'm taking the fight with Silk. In the previous war there was a Dragon Man here that I took with Kate Bishop, but due to Wong's spells being very annoying when it comes to energy damage, Kate Bishop is not really the greatest option for him. Now with Silk, all I really just need to do here is get an opening by landing an intercept, get to my special 2 quickly with the help of the advanced power boost, drop it, and due to me having the science power back boosts, I got to another special 2 very quickly, which allowed me to nuke this fight down in just about 30 seconds, no damage taken, though I did mess up the dex on Wong's special 2. Luckily though, Silk is OP, she has the auto evade to save me, so no issues there whatsoever. Also, just a reminder, these wars happened before I got the rank 3 7-star Silk, so that is why I am using the 6-star. And that said, next up we have a Kindred on the personal space placebo and subterfuge knockdown. That's probably not how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I'm just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna be taking this fight with Silk. Now usually against Kindred, Kate Bishop does just fine, but due to me getting the Fury buffs by knocking down the opponent here, I figured that I would rather have Silk's constant slow debuff from her Sig ability here. I would also have the slow from the decay tactic with Kate, but due to Kindred going stun immune fairly often, I figured I wouldn't be able to knock him down all that often to keep the slow debuff up, so Silk it is, and she does work for the fight very well, if you play well. And as we can see here, I am not playing well. Luckily though, the decay tactic is overpowered, and it allows me to tank all the damage I would otherwise take from the regenerations there, and I still finished the fight relatively healthy, though that was quite horrible to watch back even, so definitely not a clean fight, but I didn't die, so I can't complain. Now this fight right here is a Domino on the EMP modifications, personal space placebo, and prey on the weak nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Shuri. Now Shuri is a great, almost a perfect counter for Domino, because she isn't affected by AAR, meaning her abilities will not fail against Domino, so you never have to worry about the crit fail damage. Now I say never, but if you have an awakened Shuri and you block a special from Domino, you can take crit fail if you fail to roll a perfect block. Other than that though, she's just fine, and it actually came into play here as well, just to show it off. That's why I didn't exit naturally. Now this fight is fairly simple, so long as you do not let yourself stack too many of the placebo buffs. The prey on the weak node here is fairly potent, and while Shuri doesn't gain any buffs of her own, the placebos will give Domino power from the node if they expire. So if you play too passive and you get cornered, you will have some issues with the power gain, and you have no protection against Domino Special 3 even with an invulnerability boost on, because if it triggers a crit bleed, you are just dead and there's nothing you can say about it. On to the next fight, and we have arrived at the Werewolf by Night on the personal space regeneration miniboss node. I can't remember what the other nodes are here, and I forgot to check them, so I'm sure some of you can type up a comment with the nodes to let me know. Now, going in, I had no idea how this guy works, I didn't have time to practice him, so I just had to go for it and hope for the best. I wasn't sure how his special one was supposed to look, all in all, so I didn't dash in too early there. Luckily the auto evade saved me, but now I have used up my safety net. I go for my special 2 hoping it would finish. It just fell short, but Silk's Sig ability, the heal reversal, came in clutch there and just barely saved me from getting clapped by that special 1. Now, Silk's Sig ability may not seem that useful, but it really does add up, at high 6 and it can come very handy at times. Now next up we have an infamous Iron Man on the high energy diet and burden of might nodes, and I'm taking this fight with Silk. And I have taken this fight before in this season. The game plan here is the exact same. I'm just gonna rush to my special 2 without letting him use his special 1 first, so that I don't have to deal with the aura. Then I just drop the special 2, the Sunder will completely shut down his critical resistance, so the special can actually hit very hard as well. Now, a single special 2 will not be enough to take him down, but I do have the Science Power Back boosts, which gave me a ton of power back. I just gotta get to another special 2 here real quick, get the double Fury with the Striker, and then drop it before he triggers the regeneration, and down he goes. I can't reverse the healing, but I can stop it during the special animation, and even then, if I couldn't do that, I'm sure the damage output would have been enough on the burst there to finish him off anyways. I gotta say, Silk is probably one of the better options for that node, simply due to the fact that she doesn't gain buffs, so Burden of Might does nothing, and then all her damage is physical, so the high energy node also doesn't do anything. But that said, we have arrived at the good old Mangog on the Aspect of Evolution miniboss node, and I am taking this fight with Silk. And as usual, I do have the invulnerability boost on, just in case, but with strikers available in war now, you really don't need it. You just gotta get to your special 3 before Mangog gets his, and the fight is over. You can even just bait the special 2 here to play it safe. I don't really wanna do that, so I just go for the special 3 nuke without worrying about Mangog's power bar at all. After the special 3, I go for a medium light medium, medium medium, light light medium light, heavy striker, light light medium light heavy special 2 combo, and that will be enough to take this guy down. If it wouldn't be, well, you still have the invulnerability boost on to tank a special 3, after which he will go down in a combo or 2. If not, well, you'll have enough power for a special after eating the special 3 anyways. My point is, that fight is extremely safe, and you basically can't die to it unless something goes horribly wrong. Now, next up we have a Mantis on the Combat Deja Vu Prowess and Conflictor miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with Kate Bishop. I go ahead and use an advanced power boost here just to get the fight rolling quickly, because I don't really wanna be in a fight against Mantis any longer than I need to. Her defensive kit isn't that huge or problematic, but she can be very annoying if she decides to start spamming that special 1. The plan here is to just get the code snaps on, try to keep them paused by baiting and punishing special 2s or heavy attacks. I really don't want her to throw that special 1, but if she does, I just gotta keep a bar of power ready at all times to be able to prevent the encroaching sleep if it were to trigger. Now at this point though, she already has 2 of the cold snaps and she's just melting. The encroaching sleep on Kate didn't even have time to trigger, and Mantis is already down. I would consider Kate Bishop one of the better options for her, simply due to the fact that she can get her openings with the parry evade being a passive stun, as well as the cold snap being passive, meaning the Tranquilize on Mantis will not be able to do anything about them, giving you easy access to your openings as well as damage. Now then, we have arrived at the final fight of this war, as well as this video, a Mysterio boss that I am taking with Kate Bishop. To start this fight off, I go for a full combo into a special 1 to get that slow debuff up immediately, but I already messed up and I didn't get the perfect release on that special 1, so my cold snap damage is a lot weaker than it should be. Luckily I didn't notice it, and I am planning on letting it drop here in a little while, just to reset and get the more potent ones on the opponent, though letting it drop by eating a special 1 was not part of the plan. And that said, at this point I have successfully reset the fight, so to speak, I got a potent cold snap on, I have the rhythm down, I am baiting and punishing special ones over and over again, getting my second cold snap on right here, and now I just gotta keep them paused by baiting and punishing Mysterio special ones over and over. Now, as mentioned in the previous war, I just gotta make sure I keep the slow debuff up on the opponent at all times. Otherwise, if I try to just mindlessly punish his special one, I can get clapped by the Unstoppable, and that is exactly what happened here. Now, if Mysterio had crit on the full combo that he did, I might have been dead right then and there, so I am very lucky that he didn't do that, and I did manage to actually get the solo here, but once again, a stupid silly mistake, and it could have ended in my death here, and the end of my deathless season. And at this point I realized how to fix this mistake once and for all, but we'll see more about that later in the season. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 4-1. A fantastic war from us for once, and hopefully we can keep it up.